What's up guys? In today's video we're going to go through some of the most important things you need to consider whenever you are looking to bulk or grow or put on muscle. I did a video prior to this one which takes you through some of the most important things you need to consider when cutting. Did very well, so I thought I'd do a bulking version. So let's start off, shall we? No particular order. We'll start off with the most important thing, the most obvious thing, and that is you need to be in a calorie surplus in order to grow, in order to build muscle, right? So you need to be taking in more energy than you're expelling. The next most important thing you need to consider is that there is a set limit to how much muscle you can build, okay? So a lot of people think, oh, do you know what? Well, if I just consume more and more calories, I'm going to put on more and more muscle. No, that is not the case, right? It completely depends on each individual, but there is a set rate at which you can build muscle. And once you are in a calorie surplus, a suitable calorie surplus, once you go beyond that point, those extra calories aren't going to just automatically result in you building more muscle. It's more than likely, in fact, it's definitely likely that you're just going to store that excess energy in the form of body fat. Now, I know a lot of people, I've been guilty of this before, whenever you kind of transition into that bulking mode or phase, you think, do you know what? I'm bulking so I can just eat whatever I want. And obviously this is not the case because you are what you eat. The quality of the nutrition which you're consuming is still extremely important. So don't use it as an excuse to go out there and eat whatever you want. I've been there, I've done it. I've done a dirty bulk and I've compared it to doing a clean bulk, and the results have been massively different. Now, because you're going to be consuming more calories whenever you are bulking or growing, you will be able to get away with training more, okay? So increasing your overall volume, particularly when you compare it to when you're cutting, right? Because there's more calories there, you're going to find that you're going to be more fueled up for your workout, so you could possibly do more sets in a workout. You could lift heavier weights, you could probably work out for longer. You may even be able to train more frequently throughout the week compared to when you were cutting. So take advantage of it. You need to understand that there should be some sort of transition period from cutting to bulking. I've seen this before where a lot of people may have finished a cut on a set number of calories on average per week, and then they'll automatically just bump that up by 1,000 calories every single day or more, just because they think, okay, now I'm in a bulking period, now I'm going to bump up the calories, which isn't going to be the best approach for you. It's more than likely that you're going to accumulate too much weight too quickly, and a lot of that weight which you've accumulated is going to be in the form of body fat. So it's a bit like cutting. You need to kind of ease yourself into it a little bit. How quickly and at what amount you increase your calories on a week-to-week basis during this introduction to a bulk phase is really going to be dependent upon how your body changes. So one of the best ways to track this is obviously visually, but importantly as well is your changes in weight. So a good benchmark should be around roughly maybe 0.1, 0.2 kilos per week or 3 pounds per month, something like that. So if we take, for example, that figure of 0.2 kilos, which we're aiming for on a week-to-week basis, you're going to need to adjust your calorie intake in order to try and reach that target. So if, for example, you're just not gaining any weight whatsoever, it probably means that you need to eat more. But it doesn't mean you need to be eating an extra 500 calories per day. Just try an extra 100 calories on a day-to-day basis and see if that gets you to where you want to be. Or you could try and look at reducing your overall output. So any cardio which you're doing or any kind of activity which can be potentially sacrificed, I would just stop doing that. Okay, obviously prioritize your hypertrophy focused sessions, but any cardio outside of that is really just going to be unnecessary. It's going to cause you to need to eat more food in order to reach your weight gain targets. How long should you bulk for? Well, there's no exact time period which is perfect for everyone. It really is going to depend on a whole load of factors, but one of the best ways to gauge when you should kind of end that bulking phase is when body fat has crept up in excess. There is no, again, exact percentage, but I would say once you've kind of reached the 12 to 15% mark, then it's probably time that you pause the bulk and then look to do a mini cut. Which brings me on to the next topic. Bulking should be cyclical, okay? You want to basically be going through phases where you're bulking, building muscle. Obviously, when you are building muscle, there will be some fat accumulation. When the fat accumulates too much, you stop, okay? You pause the bulk. You maybe look to bring your body fat down a little bit. Once you've brought your body fat down to an adequate level, which may be, 10% or below that, then you look to continue the bulk again. Then introduce another mini cut and so on. So overall, you should be adding weight, adding mass, but there will be periods of cutting in between just to bring back the body fat, because once you get to the point where your body fat has reached, let's say for example 14, 15%, you become less efficient at building muscle. You also need to take into account there's going to be differences between a beginner and an advanced trainer. So if you are a beginner, you haven't really got that much muscle mass to begin with, and you're relatively new to weight training, resistance training, you're going to find that your ability to put on muscle to begin with is going to be pretty quick, or at least for the first 2 to 3 years of your training, you'll notice there's going to be quite a significant increase in the amount of muscle which you can put on. But if we compare that to an advanced trainer who has already accumulated quite a lot of muscle mass, and let's take me for example, I am not going to see the same rate of growth compared to a beginner. It's going to be much harder for me to put muscle on. I'm going to need to be more strategic and precise with my nutrition programming and with my training. I'm going to have to take it to the next level in order to maximize my potential for growth. If you're the type of person who doesn't have much of an appetite and you struggle to get all the food in, and you're actually required to get, let's say for example, 4,000 calories in just to see some shift on the scale, then you're going to need to figure out ways in which you can get those calories in as easy as possible. I've done videos on this which show you the differences in calorie density of different foods. So you want to be prioritizing consuming those foods which have maybe higher fats in them. So fattier cuts of meat and fish. Having avocados, nuts, dried fruits, seeds, olive oils, things like that. Just find a way to fit the calories in and you should be on your way to putting size on. You're going to have to find an approach which is going to be suitable for your lifestyle and one which you can stick to in the long run, because ultimately that's what's going to get you results. So approaches such as intermittent fasting might not be the best thing for you to do, particularly if you are following the 16-8 approach, whereby you're trying to get all of your calories in an 8-hour feeding window. So if you try to get 3,000 calories in an 8-hour feeding window, you're probably going to have a hard time doing it. Genetics is going to be a big factor when it comes to the rate at which you're building muscle, okay? So you will find some people who are just genetically blessed, they can just go out there, they can eat crap, and they will just convert those calories into building muscle tissue, and they don't even need to do that much in the gym. They just pick up a dumbbell and they put size on. Okay, people like that, they're just gifted in that way. They were almost built for packing on muscle, and in contrast to that, you'll find that some people, they just have a hard time, right? They'll go to the gym, they'll kill themselves, they'll do everything to their best ability, follow a proper training program and get their nutrition on point, but the rate of progress is just slow. And, that is the case for some people. They're just going to have a hard time compared to others, and that is because of genetics. And one last thing I would like to touch upon is patience, okay? You need to be patient with the whole process of building muscle and getting that physique which you really want to achieve. You'll find that most of the guys out there with the most impressive physiques have been training for a very long time, and they've been doing so consistently. Okay, so take me for example, I've been training for 10 years and it's been pretty much non-stop on a week-to-week basis. Don't be, so beat up if you're not seeing the results you want to see in a matter of months. It's not going to happen in a matter of months, okay? It takes years to build a decent foundation. So be patient with it and find a way of enjoying the journey. That's the most important thing, okay? So there you have it, guys. Some of the most important things I would consider to take note of whenever you are bulking or looking to grow and build muscle. Be patient with it, enjoy it, and just stick to the basics. Don't try and overcomplicate things because you really don't need to. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you soon.